We're starting with number 8. Find the value of the variable. We are given BC, 2x squared. We're given AC. It is 64. Oh, and then we're told that AB equals BC. So by the definition of midpoint, we know that B is now a midpoint. You just got promoted, B. You're not just a point anymore. You're a midpoint. All right, so we have 2 choices here. We are given a half and we're given a whole. We are given a half and a whole. What we're not going to do is set them equal. I'm going to take the whole and I'm going to divide it by 2. That way I can set 2x squared equal to not 64, but 32. So that was my choice. Could I have doubled 2x squared? Sure, I could have doubled it. But I like working with smaller numbers, so if the whole is divisible by 2, I usually do that. Okay, so we need to solve for x, and ooh, you better be glad she asked this one because this is on your quiz today. Not the midpoint. Midpoint's not on your quiz, but solving for x is on your quiz. So are you ready for this? Are you watching? You need to divide by 2. X squared equals 16. And then here's where all the students miss half of their points. The opposite of squaring something is square rooting. X equals plus or minus 4. Or you can write x equals -4, comma, +4. There are 2 answers because it's x squared. 2 answers. Okay, the next one is number 9. Number 9, FE is 2x, EC is x squared, and FC, is 24. We want to find the value of x. This is not a midpoint problem. This is a segment addition problem. We know segment addition, part plus part equals whole. That's a quadratic. That's a quadratic that has to be factored. 8 was a quadratic that didn't have to be factored. This one has to be factored because it has a middle term. Don't factor until you've brought everything to one side. So x squared plus 2x minus 24 equals 0. I'm going to do this quickly. We know that x and x go here. I need to make a 2. I need to make a 2, and I get to use the factors of 24. Can I make a 2 out of a 12 and a 2? No. Can I make a 2 out of an 8 and a 3? No. Can I make a 2 out of a 6 and a 4? Ding, ding, ding. So you put a 6 and a 4 in there. Now you figure out their signs. I want it to be a positive 2. So do I want the 6 to be negative or the 4 to be negative? I want the bigger one to be positive because I want it to be positive. That is not the answer. Don't type that in the answer blank. That is not x. You need to solve for x. In other words, what value of x forces that to be 0? So you subtract 6 from both sides, and you get x is -6. And you add 4 to both sides, and you get x is 4. So 2 answers. Oh, now, we did not talk about this yesterday. You can't keep both of those answers because we don't have negative lengths. There's no such thing as a negative length. So 4, this answer's fine, but -6, if I plug that in right there, that would mean FE equals -12. We can't have a negative length. So even though x really does equal -6, it is not a valid answer. It's not a valid answer, so we throw it out and we don't write it as one of our answers. So x just equals 4, and that's it. Number 12 says, do not assume S is the midpoint. Use the segment addition, it's a postulate, it says theorem, first, and then check the length of PS and SQ to see if S is the midpoint. So it's like you're innocent until proven guilty. He's not the midpoint yet unless we have proof that he's the midpoint. So you're not going to set PS equal to SQ. That's what you're not going to do. So you're going to do part plus part equals whole. PQ is the whole. Man, these got messed up, didn't they? Sorry about that. All right, PQ is the whole, PS is one of the parts, and SQ is one of the parts. So I'm going to do part plus part equals whole. So we have 10b minus 4 equals 36. 10b equals 40. B equals 4. So now we're going to plug B in to the two parts, the two things that have the P over it. If we get the same thing both sides, on both sides of that point, then it really is a midpoint. So this is us. This is like we're the attorney and we're presenting the evidence. We're trying to get it proved guilty of being a midpoint. All right, so 4 times 4 plus 2. That's 18. 6 times 4 minus 6. That's 18. 18 equals 18, so yes.